So Nitro, number 116, also December 1st, 1997.
Let me give a history lesson before we start this. So, on this day that they taped this show, the idea was that at Starrcade, Eric Bischoff was going to win control of Nitro. And Eric Bischoff was going to rename it NWO Monday Nitro. And WCW was going to move to Thursday nights, a brand new 2-hour Thursday night show. So when you hear how everybody was reacting to everything, it's kind of funny, as we'll get into. And of course, that's not what happened. They ended up keeping Nitro on Monday, and they gave us Thunder.
The venom in your voice as you say that word.
Sickening.
So in my week off, I missed another Sting fell from the rafters. Oh, wait, it's just a dummy segment.
Mm-hmm.
Really? They had to do this twice?
And they waffled him in the head with a bat.
Yeah. So they said Larry Zbyszko had lured Eric Bischoff into accepting a one-on-one match at Starrcade. But then, Gene brings Bischoff out for a promo. Bischoff says, no. I have no contract to wrestle Larry Zbyszko. I offered to fight him last week, and it never happened, so that offer's done. The only way, he said, he would wrestle Zbyszko is if WCW is willing to put Nitro on the line, but he knew Larry didn't have the power to make that happen. Gene repeated this to make sure the fans at home understood, and it was done. He didn't stretch it out over 20 minutes for no reason. Larry went off on a rant about how they had made a verbal agreement on national television. Juventud Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio Jr.
This had to be the worst Ray Hoovy match of all time. Am I the only one?
I was watching the first few minutes because Hoovy is one of those guys who is not as good as I remember. Because I only remember the cool stuff he did and not the great amount of stuff he fucked up.
The other 80%?
Yes. So I'm watching this like 3 minutes just waiting for Hoovy to fuck something up to an epic degree.
Right.
And it's going along fine. And then Ray fucks up.
Right.
Ray does the thing where you're running the ropes and your head slips under the rope and you come up with your throat onto the rope and you nearly die.
I don't know if this was the one or if he did it again, but now you know why he always hit the middle rope.
Yes.
Because he was trying to hit the top rope here, but he was too short. And so he missed and he snapped his head and he ended up selling his knee, but I don't think he actually hurt his knee. I think he snapped his neck and he needed time to recover.
Yes.
And so Hoovy decided, I'm going to put you in some wacky leg holds.
Yes.
And they were wacky.
It's a good thing he didn't work the neck.
You don't want to work the neck.
Exactly.
No. Yeah, Ray did this because he was short. I did this once because I was just that clumsy.
Dude, I did this in our first match.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I suspect pretty much everyone who's wrestled more than a couple dozen matches has done it. Sucks.
No, not this. I hit the middle rope.
I see.
Like a mini.
No, I meant your head slides under the top rope and you come back and...
How the fuck did you do that?
Yeah,
You're
how did
9
you do
feet
that?
tall.
I was that clumsy.
I never did that.
I did that. I had more matches than you, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
I honestly think
Worse.
it would take a great deal
More.
of coordination for you to be able to pull that off.
I don't know what to tell you.
Did you trip?
Possibly.
Huh.
I just can't even imagine
I have
this.
forgotten the how. I just remember the what.
Were you running on your knees by any chance?
No, I was definitely not doing that.
Trying to figure out the physics involved with this.
I picture Vinny doing the Eddie Guerrero spot where he's running across the ring on his knees.
And it's bouncing.
but then he slips and necks himself on the ropes.
That makes more sense. Yeah. So anyway, Eddie was on commentary here, by the way. And he was great because while he's pointing out all the cool shit they are doing, he is also pointing out how he would have countered it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, he was Frank Mir.
I guess, yeah. So Hoovy hits the Michinoku driver for a near fall, and Ray comes back and wins with a very scary West Coast pop. I thought it was a very good match.
I thought it was a match.
I thought it was really good, actually, Brian.
I guess I'm the guy, as usual.
Wrath versus Hugh Morris.
Anyone want to tell me this was good?
This was not good.
It's not good.
This guy ran the WWE Performance Center for years.
Yes.
Right.
So Raven and his crew showed up at ringside during the entrances. It only went like 3 minutes, but it was still crappy.
By the way, this is the second week in a row that Lodi's been out there, and they haven't identified the man.
They don't,
Like
know
they
his,
couldn't figure out what to call him.
they don't know his name. They acknowledged him.
Yeah.
They said, there's that guy again with the signs.
They probably thought he looks like Billy Idol. Let's call him Billy. Ah, fuck, we got a Billy Kidman. What the hell could we call him? I don't know. Just throw him out there. Who gives a shit?
That sounds like a very WCW conversation.
I'm sure that's exactly how it went.
So Vandenberg distracts Hugh. Hugh, while being distracted, is constantly looking back over his shoulder for the kick he knows is coming. The kick finally comes. It looks like hell. It did set up Wrath doing a flip dive off the apron, which tells you how strong Hugh Morris was that Wrath trusted this guy to catch him.
It's true.
And then Mortis put a chain in his boot. Vandenberg takes the ref.
There's a lot of shit that happened.
In
that
3
led
minutes.
to nothing.
Yes.
Hugh Morris just moonsaulted him.
Yes. I only bring this up because, well, A, it's my job, but, Vandenberg has the ref, and Mortis is on the apron with his foot on the top rope pointing to his chain on the toes. And Wrath and Hugh are like doing a collar and elbow. And Wrath looks over at Mortis, and he looks the other way to see that Vandenberg has the ref, and he looks back at Mortis, and all he can do is nod, but it should have been a wink and a thumbs up.
I like the idea that when he put his foot on the top rope, that wasn't enough.
No.
He also had to point.
Yeah.
My foot.
There it is.
Right there.
So Mortis throws a kick, and Hugh ducks, and Wrath goes down. And Wrath goes up top, but no, that's still not enough. Vandenberg has to climb up top with him, and Hugh knocks him down. And after all of this, Hugh just hits a moonsault and wins. This is way more shenanigans than were needed for a 3-minute match.
Think about this. There was a horrible match involving Wrath, which was immediately followed by a commercial for Saturday night telling you that if you tune in on Saturday, you could see Glacier versus Ernest Miller.
What?
Yeah.
Aren't they buddies?
Apparently they're wrestling on Saturday night.
Interesting.
Bischoff and Hulk Hogan came out for a promo.
Hogan called people numbskulls.
He did. I will say this, by the way. If you're watching this show with headphones, the Voodoo Child knockoff sounds much cooler.
Then Jimi Hendrix?
Well, no.
Okay.
But cooler than it sounds without the headphones.
Vinny, I was ready to hit you.
I know. I would have deserved it. Anyway, the point was they're selling Sting masks and they want you to buy them. So they had everyone in the crowd with Sting masks on, and they zoomed in on everyone who had them. It was about 1/3 of the people, at least on the hard camera side. And Hogan says, all you people are in denial. You don't realize Sting's a coward. He threatens to fight the entire audience. He leaves the ring to confront a granny.
Yeah.
And
He did.
yes.
Not the granny,
No, not our granny.
but a granny.
A granny. And I'm 98% sure this was a plant, but I don't care.
But she was there the year before when they were in Knoxville.
She was always there
Right.
in the front row.
Yeah.
I don't think she was a plant, but I mean, obviously she was part of the show.
Oh, yes. So the stare down between this granny and Hulk Hogan, and then she began to throw punches at him, and then she started, doing like cat motions at his face. I don't know what the hell is going on. But Hogan is perplexed. Doug Dillinger is there, I guess, to protect Hulk in case anything goes wrong. Bischoff leaves the ring to tell Hulk, I don't know what she's doing, but do not touch this grandmother. And then he goes go to the break. I was laughing my ass off.
I loved every moment of this. It was old school, campy heel stuff, and it was great.
Yuji Nagata versus Prince Iaukea. In a match,
I was going to tell you, Vince, last week he had come back, Prince Iaukea, that is.
Yeah, thank God.
And they were saying that he had been on a 5-week tour of New Japan.
Yeah.
And I made a crack that maybe New Japan was very desperate.
Dude, New Japan is using Billy Gunn
That's true.
today.
yes.
But as I watched this match,
He was good.
Prince Iaukea improved when he was on a tour of New Japan.
Yes.
He
Shocking.
had a very, very good match with Yuji Nagata.
As soon as this match was announced, I wrote, is this necessary? Then I watched this match. Yes, this match was necessary. I needed to see this. It had a very, very good wrestling match. Lots of chain wrestling, which all looked good. Prince makes his comeback with chops and kicks, but Yuji cuts him off with a belly-to-belly. And they go fight up top, and Prince knocks him down, hits a big body press for the win. A professional wrestling match this was. That was very good. Faces of Fear versus Harlem Heat.
Oh, man, I loved it. Let me tell you what happened in this match. First off, Jimmy Hart's there. Jackie's there. Ming and Barbarian are there. Harlem Heat are there. Bodies everywhere. Jackie at one point goes after Jimmy Hart, which gets the biggest pop of the whole match. So she's beating on Jimmy outside. Booker's running wild in the ring, and he makes a cover on Barbarian, and Ming breaks it up. So Ming is a barbarian himself. He's a crazed savage, but he breaks us up with an old school double sledge. They keep going.
I really enjoyed that double sledge.
I love that double sledge. I watched it twice. I was like, that's how he broke it up. He raised his hands high over his head, and he sledged the man in the back. I think Harlem Heat won. I don't even remember.
Okay.
All it matters, let me get to what matters. When it's over, Ming just keeps going on a Godzilla tirade.
He did this last week, too.
He's doing the Tongan death grip. One of Harlem Heat gets a wooden chair, and he literally Tongan death grips through the chair to the man's neck. He takes him down to the mat. He's just running roughshod. And then he looks outside, and he sees that Jackie is beating up Jimmy Hart. And Ming gets out of the ring, and he goes to get her. Like he's going to eat her. And she just runs for her life. I loved it. I remember the time people hated the Ming push. They hated it. They absolutely could not understand, why do they always make Ming into such a killer? He's horrible. That's what people said. Dave gave his matches duds. I mean, come on. But man, looking back, he was so great. I understand why they pushed him. I'd have pushed him. I'd have made him my world champion. God, he was great.
It's not too late.
It's not!
So the finish was, four-way breaks out. Booker ends up on Barbarian's shoulders. Stevie Ray kicks Barbarian in the stomach so Booker can do a victory roll. But as that is going on, Ming don't care about the pin, as Brian said. He just goes after Stevie, and Tongan death grips him to death.
But I think the pin was the victory roll.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so Harlem Heat wins. But I was just left wondering, if you're going to have this ultimate unstoppable monster Meng, who defeats two men with his Tongan death grip, why not just let him win the match as well? The Outsiders came out for a promo. Best sign I've seen in months. They were in Knoxville, Tennessee. And a fan holds up a sign that reads, NWO? WCW? Hell no! This is Ron Wright country.
That's a lot of words.
That's a lot of words to talk about how great Ron Wright was in 1997. Almost 98. So, Hall does his survey shtick. Nash says WCW is Lee Harvey Oswald and the NWO is Jack Ruby with a gunshot to the stomach. Yes, he threatened murder. Of everyone, apparently. Scott Hall versus Disco Inferno. Disco was coming off the loss to Jacqueline, and the NWO was not even humoring him with any kind of dignity. We got one flurry of punches at the very beginning, and they squashed him like the biggest geek in the world.
Oh, man. Scott Hall beat the shit out of him in the corner.
Yeah.
It was great.
The chops he was using.
Oh, I love this match.
Yeah. He used a choke slam, started making fun of the Giant, and they pinned him with a razor's edge. And then, just to put the cherry on top of the sundae, the Outsiders did the most cartoon, exaggerated celebration of this, like jumping up and down and pumping their fists, pointing out to everyone, this was nothing because Disco is nothing. Okerlund interviewed J.J. Dillon, who got right to the point, said that Larry could not put Nitro on the line, but he could, and he was booking Bischoff versus Zbyszko at Starrcade with Nitro at stake. Bischoff ran out to protest that Dillon didn't have this kind of power. Dillon said, yes, I do. Then no one said anything for a while. Then it ended.
And what was so amazing about this was, as we noted, originally, when this show was written, Bischoff was going to win. And so when you watch this segment and you just see J.J. Dillon out there, and he's just got this big grin and he's cackling, and the announcers are laughing, and they're all expecting Bischoff to lose. It was all being built up where they would all be absolute fools. And Bischoff was going to win in the end. It was so fascinating to watch this. And of course, at the end of the day, Bischoff lost. But it was very funny watching how this was designed when originally he was going to win.
All I know is they should have never shined a spotlight on Larry Zbyszko because he spent the next hour talking about himself. on
Well, yeah.
every match that he was doing quote unquote commentary for.
I'm trying to remember now. He had one. I forget. He had some great line on this show, and by great I mean terrible. Ultimo Dragon versus Psychosis. They mentioned, the announcers did, that Ultimo Dragon's daughter had undergone abdominal surgery in Mexico City and was now on the mend. It was good news. At the exact point they told this story, Psychosis does a slingshot leg drop from the ring over the top rope to the hard floor. All I could think was, this man must also want abdominal surgery.
This is the same move that the
Italian.
yeah,
Johnny the Bull.
thank you.
Tore his
urethra.
Yes.
Awesome.
Don't do this move, people.
No.
Do not fly out of the ring and land on your ass on the floor.
He immediately starts holding his back
Yeah.
and his hip.
His hips, his pelvis, and his tailbone. And back and forth for a while. Dragon won with a spinning top rope Rana and the Dragon Sleeper.
Cool.
Clips from a Nitro party.
You know, I knew you guys, I knew what was coming. But it's time for me to defend the Nitro parties.
Not this one.
Nope, I'm gonna.
Oh my.
These dudes were total complete geeks.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? These guys were having a Nitro party. They're having a huge get-together to watch Nitro.
There was 8 people there.
And there were a lot of them watching it and having fun. So I was totally fine with putting this on television. The show was cool enough that these people arranged a party on a Monday night around watching Nitro. Now listen, I realize they're geeks, but let's imagine a Microsoft Christmas party. Really? There's going to be a bunch of cooler guys hanging out than we're here at this Nitro party? Let's imagine the Safeway down the road having their Halloween party. A bunch of total dorks.
I have been your Safeway. There's that guy with the afro. That guy was cooler than anyone in this Nitro party.
Let's imagine your dentist and his dentistry office getting together for the holiday party.
Dude, Nitro
bunch of
balloons
dorks
for everybody.
There's dorks everywhere, is my point. There's no group of cool folk that are out there. They're all geeks.
That's a fair thing to say, actually.
Like these wrestling geeks are any bigger geeks than any other group of geeks. Hey, your cabinet making cacophony of goofs? Gotta be a bunch
They're
of geeks.
far more entertaining, that's for sure.
I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they
but
do
don't tell me they're not a bunch of geeks just like these Nitro Party geeks.
Okay.
Imagine radio hosts doing a Christmas show. Bunch of fucking geeks.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fact. All right.
Now let's talk about a well,
Don't defend this.
can I edit that out? Listen, the match was fun. Chris Benoit destroyed Kidman.
Yeah, destroyed him.
Supposed to be Chris Benoit versus Raven, but Raven announced although he had signed, he made the rules and he would wrestle when he said so. He was not wrestling tonight. He was sending Kidman in to do his work for him. So Kidman went in to wrestle.
Wrestle? He went in to take a glorious beating.
To absorb blows repeatedly. Chris Benoit, who was a very good pro wrestler, beat the holy snot out of him. It was greatly entertaining. He would have beat this man and then go to the corner and call out Raven, dare him to come fight, and Raven would stand in defiance. And eventually, Kidman was able to... they were brawling on the floor, and Kidman yanked Benoit into a lariat from Saturn. He followed with a shooting star press from the apron to the floor, in 1997, mind you. And I figured, okay, he's going to put him in a hold. Benoit will make his comeback and do the finish. Considering their respective places on the WCW totem pole, Benoit gave him a ton. Kidman got a lot of offense here. Finally, Benoit makes his comeback, gets the crossface, and the flock attacks for the DQ. Oh, yeah, no, he did get the submission one first. Then the flock attacks. Benoit attacked them all, fought all of them off until the giant hammer hit the ring. And Hammer and Benoit had a stare down, but that was just a setup.
The giant hammer.
Edit that out.
Oh, no.
Well, the large man who referred to himself as Hammer hit the ring. Had a stare down with Benoit. It was a setup for Raven to attack Benoit.
Giant hammer.
DDT.
Yeah, stare down with Benoit.
He's pierced, too.
He has a giant pierced hammer.
That's right.
That's true. You're right, Craig.
Yeah.
Glad you noticed.
Well, make it kind of obvious.
Let's just cut to the chase.
Please do.
Is there anybody that can more believably beat up 5 men than Chris Benoit?
No.
It was amazing.
Maybe Brock.
And I interpreted Raven's look outside as a man who just thought, what the hell did I just get into here?
That's possible.
He's going to chop me really hard.
I've made a huge mistake. I need more flunkies.
I also noted that Raven is Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah,
How so?
it really is.
It's the same storyline. He wrestles
He's
who
much
he
more
wants.
entertaining than Jeff Jarrett.
Who he wants. He is more entertaining. I will give him that.
All right. The hell were we? Lex Luger versus Buff Bagwell.
This was a good match. Buff Bagwell was very good until he broke his neck.
It was similar to the main thing where I thought if you're going to put a guy over this strong afterwards, why not just let him win the match? Because you see, Lex is running wild, making his comeback. He hits the power slam, calls the rack. Vincent hits the ring. And Brian, here's something you've always complained about. As soon as Vincent hit the ring, the ref called for the DQ.
Good.
Even though Lex killed him. At
Yep.
no point was Lex in danger.
Yeah, he never laid a hand on Lex.
No.
Because you're not allowed to have an extra man get inside the goddamn ring.
Then they need to keep the rules consistent, Brian.
Why are you telling me this? I've been arguing this for years.
I know.
I can enter the ring with a gun, but as long as they don't pull the trigger, it's okay.
Absolutely.
That's stupid. You hear me? Stupid.
Anyway, Lex ended up racking Bagwell and Vincent anyway.
Yeah, Vincent successfully went up for the rack. That's the most notable thing of this match. I didn't think he'd be able to. I thought he'd somehow fuck it up. And you know what's weird? There are all sorts of stupid run-ins in WCW. But the fans were totally, completely satisfied with a horrible DQ because Luger racked both men afterwards.
Multiple on one show, by the way.
That was literally enough for them.
That's true.
They like this Lex.
NWO did their own hype video running down DDP, basically showing everyone in the NWO laying him out repeatedly. Then we got Paige versus Kurt Hennig in the main event. They're doing this match, and totally at random, the ref goes down.
Do you know what happened here?
Yes.
I assume the fans hit him in the eye with a bottle.
So they're doing this match, and Randy Anderson just collapses. Mm-hmm. And you can see Kurt Hennig, he's in control, and he looks over at the guy, and he's like, what the fuck happened?
He's holding his head, by the way.
Probably thinks, did this guy like have an aneurysm or a heart attack, or why is he down? So he immediately takes DDP to the mat, and he puts him in a long chin lock
Yes.
to find out if Randy Anderson's alive. Some fucking fan
Aha.
threw a golf ball
Christ.
and beamed him right in the head and fucked him up.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And he managed to finish the match and everything like that, but he was messed up. And this is what happens when you encourage the fans
That's
to
true.
jump the rail and throw shit at the ring.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Golf ball.
A golf ball.
It's maniacal.
So yes, the ref goes down, holding his eye, and all three men are down laying there as they determine, is this ref okay to continue? Can we keep going? And eventually he survived, and they did. It was still mostly just sleepers and chin locks anyway. And then Paige makes his comeback when Rick Rude comes down, and then Paige hits the diamond cutter, and then it becomes, I believe this is the exact same finish they did for about 2 years in a row, where they do the main event, the babyface is his finisher, and the NWO attacks for the DQ.
Yeah, and Rude comes down and yanks Randy out of the ring, who just got hit in the head with a golf ball.
That is also
Throws
true.
him headfirst into the ground. Bet he loved that.
That was the end of Nitro there.
No, Vinny. You're not going to talk about Hulk Hogan's fucking diamond cutters?
Oh yeah, they beat up Paige forever, and Hulk Hogan attempted to hit diamond cutters on DDP. They were poor.
Craig, would you like to describe these diamond cutters?
Well, he grabbed him in.
These
a
were the
headlock.
goddamn worst diamond cutters ever in the history of this business.
Were they worse than his figure four?
No. They weren't. The figure four where he put the top leg under the other leg because he was so goddamn bad he couldn't figure out how to do a figure four.
They're confusing moves, Brian.
He did the worst diamond cutter I've ever seen, and then he did a second one, which was worse than the first.
Yep. He's Hulk Hogan, man.
You sound surprised.
Vinny, go give Craig a diamond cutter right now. Like,
No.
how can you not do a diamond cutter? It's not like he was asked to do a fucking 450.
Your floor double enforced.
It wasn't like I can imagine Hulk Hogan fucking up a Sister
now,
Abigail.
Now I want to.
But a goddamn diamond cutter, you grab his head and you fall on your fucking back. Why is it so hard? Why could Hulk Hogan not do anything right?
He was a entertainer.
I understand that.
What do you want me to do?
You grab his head and you take a flat back bump.
Hey, here's
Jesus
a news flash.
Christ.
Hulk Hogan, who was a wrestler, wasn't much of a wrestler, Brian.
I just can't believe it.
It's true.
Then they all mock Sting, like I'm mocking the two of you right now. We're doing another match.
Yeah.
I want Vinny to execute
A diamond cutter.
Diamond Cutter on Craig.
To see if we can do it better than Hogan
I
and
want to
Page.
see if you guys can do it better.
Huh.
Because you can't not.
You're probably right.
Anyway, everybody, now that is the show.
Right.
And that's it. That's all.
That's it.
Well, bye.
Thursday, it's NXT
Yeah.
and
Lucha
Lucha
and Granny.
and Granny
And I gotta watch Raw.
and Raw.
What about 205?
I haven't decided yet. I don't know what happens on this show. All I know is that approximately 25 minutes into the show, I got like 10 texts all at the same time.
Have you read
Something
any of
big
them?
happens.
This show's dead. These poor guys. Show's already DOA. Like I don't even know what happened.
Well, apparently it picks up at the end.
Oh, that's
Spoiler
good.
alert.
That's good. Maybe I'll find out and then I'll decide. But anyway, that's the show, everybody. So that's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Bye.